So if we come back to our setup game here, where is that screen? It's here. So save game times here, and save game times and color for both players. Okay, so here we're just going to say game provider dot set game time. Okay, now we need to put our game times here, which is a string, and in the game times you know that it's this white minutes and white time. So we're just going to say for white it's going to be white minutes, and then this is a string, so we're just going to say to string, and then for black we're just going to say black time in minutes to string. Sorry, let's go back to string, which is let's minimize that to string, like that. Let's close it out, and then let's close it out. Okay, so this is how we are saving it. And then now once we save it, so the reason why I've put this method, let's go back to it as a future, because I wanted to save it. That's when we navigate. So let's go back here. So, and then here let's put the await keyword here. So we need to put an asynchronous keyword here. So now we are wait for this method to finish, and then when it finishes, that's when we are going to navigate here. So here we are getting an error because we have called asynchronous here. So what we can do is okay, let's leave it like this for now, because we are still working here. We'll fix it. So let me just open this up, and then we will navigate. But for us to get these times, let's go back in our game screen here. So now we want to read the time that we will save. Okay, so let's come back where the screen is starting here. Where is that? Okay, here on the scaffold. Here we need to read the provider class. So what we can do for now is let's read it from here. Let's say final game provider be equals to context dot read. What we want to read is a game provider, like that. Then let's put these brackets here. So once this class starts, we are going to read this, and then now let's try to print here. So now let's print the white time this will be game provider dot white time. Okay, so we are printing white time. Let's copy, and then let's print black's time. Black's time. So here black's time. Okay, so now we come back here. Once we click here, if everything is correct, we are going to save the time, and then once we navigate, we come to the game screen. We should be able to print the times that we will put here. Okay, so let me restart the application again, and then we'll see what we will get. Alright guys, the application has started. Let's see what we will get now. So let's open that, and then let's choose the custom time, and then first let's put, maybe for white, let's give him 5. Black, let's give him like 8. Then let's play. So now you can see that we have printed white's time, which is 5, then black's time, which is 8. Great. We have successfully created our method to save our time and then retrieve it back in the game screen. Okay, that's a good step so far. So let's minimize this, and then now let's put the time to show here where it's supposed to show. So all we have to do is just come back here on the Stockfish here app. We can just put game provider. If we want to show it, game provider dot black's time, like that, and then remove the constant keyword here. Okay, and then we can also, let's see, why are we having an error? So this is a duration, it should say to string. Okay, so like this we can show our time here, but now as you can see, it's a duration. It's showing these zeros at the end. All we want is just this 0, this. Okay, so we'll also format the string to show this correct time. Okay, so let's show this for now, and then maybe we need to put some styling here. This is too small, so let's put the style while we're here, which comes from text style. And then maybe font size, let's keep something like maybe 16. Yeah, so let me return this to this, just to check the font size. Let's hot restart. Yeah, maybe this one is better. So even here, let's put the font size. Let's copy and paste it. Okay, and let's hot restart. Then we have it. So here, if we put that game provider dot black's time dot to string, if we hot restart, we're going to get that time. Okay, but we need to format it. Okay, so now we know how to get the time that we have selected. Let's go back, then let's also come back here. The other thing that we need to save here, we said save time and player color for both players. Okay, so here inside the game provider, let's also save the player color. Okay, let's go back inside the game provider. So let's create the method for setting the player color. So down here, let's say set player color. Set player color. So for the player color, let's create that method void. We'll name it as set player color, and then here let's require an int, required int, and then this will be the player, and then here we are going to set that player on top will be equal to the player. And then here now for the other, this player color, this one, we're going to check this. We are going to say if this player color is going to be equal to the player, if the player color, let's check if the player color, this one which is coming, if this one is equal to squares dot white. Okay, I said that if it's white it's 0, if it's black is 1. So if this one is equals to white, then that player color will also be equal to white. Okay, else that player color will be equal to black. I hope I'm clear here. And then let's just notify the changes. Okay, so this player color, we are setting it to what we are setting for when this method happens. We are setting that player color, and then this player color we are setting depending on this player. If the player that we selected is white, then the player color will be white, else it will be black. It's just pretty straightforward. And then next, I think we also need to create the method for setting the difficulty. Okay, so let's set difficulty. So this method, let's also create void set game difficulty, and then this one also, let's go back there, let's require the int, let's name it as a level. Yes, like that. And then here, of course, we are going to set the difficulty to, we need to initialize the difficulty up and the getter. Okay, so let's come back up here, then let's say int game level. Let's say we can name it as game level, or let's just say game difficulty will be equals to maybe 1. We initialize it as 1, and then now let's get a getter. So int get game difficulty, which will return our game difficulty. So this one up here, and then let's come down up here. So here we're just going to say game difficulty will be equals to level. Okay, so that's it for the game difficulty. Let's just notify the changes. Okay, so now next, let's also save save these things from this screen. Okay, so let's go back to the game startup screen, and then now for the player color, let's go back to the methods here. So where we are, where is that player color? Okay, this one here. So here, that's where we need to call those methods. So instead of saying it like this, like group, like we are changing it like this, we just need to call our method inside our provider. So let's say game provider dot set player color. This is going to be instead of value, because if we put the value here to give us an error because it's of type player color, so instead of value we have to put the int, which is 0, because we know that if we are white we are 0. Actually this is a black player, this is black, which is this. So here instead of 0 we'll put 1. So let's copy this, and then now we don't need this set state, let's delete it. Then let's go back up where there's a method for white, this one. So let's delete everything here, then paste that, and then change this to 0. So if we try to change here, you can see that we are not able to change this because we have removed that set state method. Okay, so how to fix this? Because even this, if we change here, it will change because there is a set state, but we don't want to set state here because we can do that, but now we want to use these values from our provider. Okay, that's what we want to do. So to do this, we need to wrap all of this with the provider. Up here, let me just show you. You can see here we are using context.read game provider, so we're only reading this provider once. Okay, so we need to be reading this provider with every time we have a change we can read, so that these things can refresh. Okay, so to read that, because even here this player color group, you can see that we are just reading it from here, but if we want to read after we do any change here and then we refresh here without using a set state while we are using a provider, we have to read this player color group. Instead of putting it up here, we can read direct from this player color. That's why we have put this player color here. And then also I realized that we also need to put the game difficulty in there, but let's go step by step. So let's come back here. So now to read things in provider in the provider class to refresh, we need to wrap. We can call here, we can say game provider context.watch. We can either do it like this. Okay, and then here up, instead of putting it like this, we can just put game provider dot player color. Okay, we are getting the group like that. Even now we can copy this, and then let's come down to this one and then paste it here. So like this, we are watching for any changes that is happening inside the provider. So let's go ahead and restart. Let's do it one more time. Okay, and then let's test it. Then let's try to change. You can see that now we are changing, and then we are reading direct from the provider class. So we can do it this way, and then we can do it another way also. So here I change this to watch. The other way that I can do it is I can come to where I need the provider, like this body. I can wrap this body in the with a widget called the consumer widget. So let's go on ahead and do that. I can just come in front of this, at this bar band, click and then wrap with a widget, and then let's just type consumer. This is a consumer widget from the provider package. Then inside here we can put our provider, which is called game provider, and then now below here we can go ahead and put a builder. So this builder takes in a context, and then it's going to take the provider now, which will be our game provider, and a child. Okay, let's go back, and the child like that, and then now we will return the widget. Okay, so now here we're just going to say return, and then we can return all of these. Let's go up to this padding and then cut them, and then now we can delete this child, then just return those things here. Okay, so let's close that properly. So now we have closed it. we have retained everything inside. Now everything inside this consumer, it can read the provider with real-time changes. Now we don't need this one on top, we can just delete this. So this is actually the same way like what we did with the context.watch. So let's just click this 2 more times and test it. Let's restart again. It has started. Let's go on ahead and custom, and then you can see that we can change. So now let's also do for the difficulties. So let's go back into the provider, game provider, and then up here let's also initialize the enum for the game difficulty. So I'm going to say game difficulty. I think this one we need to change it. So let's just click here and then right click, and then let's say refact or rename symbol, and then let's change this to game level, like that. Okay, and then even here let's rename this to game level. Okay, so that we don't confuse them with this. So game difficulty is going to be equal to game difficulty dot easy. We initialize it with easy, and then now let's also get the getter for the game difficulty. Game difficulty get game difficulty, which will return the game difficulty. Okay, now let's import this. So this one is need to be the small letter, and then that's it. Now here where we are setting the difficulty, where is our method? Here where we are setting the game level, we need to do more. The same thing that we have done up here. Okay, so here we're just going to check this game difficulty is going to be equal to, so if this level, if level is equal to 1, then the game difficulty is going to be equal to game difficulty. So let's go back. Game difficulty dot easy in the else. So if this level is 1, game difficulty will be easy. And then else, let's check again. If level is equal to 2, then game difficulty will be medium, and then the else is going to be game difficulty is going to be equal to hard, and then that's it. We are done with the game difficulty. So let's go back to the setup screen, and then now let's change the game difficulty. So this we can leave it like this, and then the game difficulty now. So this, let's add the constant keyword here because this word won't change. And then now to set this, so instead of using this group, what we do is game provider dot game difficulty. Okay, so let's copy this, use it here, and then use it here. And then now to set this game group, we are going to do that method. Instead of a set, we're going to say set game level. What's our method inside here? Set game difficulty. Set actually it starts from game provider dot set game difficulty. And then the level here, we know that if it is what is this, medium, it's 2. Okay, let's just copy this, then paste it here. Hard is 3, and then here let's paste it. This is 1, and then that's it. So let's reload again. So what's the problem we have here? Let me close this. What is our error here? Let's delete this. Let's reload one more time. Okay, it has started. Let's see custom. So we can change the difficulty, we can change the time, and whenever we go to this next screen, the game screen, we know that we will get the data that according to what we have saved. Here when we click, we'll get this because we haven't selected. So it's the same way when we come back here. So now also we need to set, because here when we come here, when we click, we don't know if we are saving this. So let's just make sure. So let's see. Saved. Once we click on play here, we are checking this, but this was for the custom. So let's see. Okay, let's just save and see if this will follow in the next screen. Let's click continue. So we are not saving, as you can see. Then let's go back, because we were only working on the custom. Now let's work if the user has just selected. Let's see where's if the screen start, where are we missing, where are we getting this? So these are the values. Let's see, where is our method? So this is when if it's custom time. If it is custom time, we're going to show this, else we are going to show this container. So widget.gameTime. Okay, now I know, I was lost a bit. So here we're only checking if it is custom time. Okay, else actually all of these should be only happening when if it's custom time. So let's cut all of this out of here. It should be inside here, and then in the else here, that's where we will check. Here is in not custom time. So this is where the time is not custom, is like this. You have selected the time. That's where we will do other methods here. Okay, other methods here. So we were only working on the custom time part. Now in the next one, we are going to work here, this side, to also be saving these other methods, because as you can see here, we don't only have 5 minutes completely, or 1 or 3 minutes. Here we also have these incremental methods like 5 plus 3, 10 plus 5, 15 plus 10. We need to handle all these. Okay, that's what we are going to do in these methods down here. Thank you guys, and see you in the next video.